I don't have a gavel today, so I'll bang on the table just a little bit. Good afternoon to everybody, and welcome to Beaufort County Transportation's July meeting. Thank you all for being here. Chris is on vacation, so I guess I'll be doing, unless Rusty, you gonna do the roll call? I can do it.
I don't have anything for it, but
I'll do it.
okay.
Art Hanman,
Here.
Craig Forrest.
Here.
Jim Backer.
Here.
Charles Perry. No, he's excused. Jenny Kozak.
Here, on time.
Yeah.
I've taken note to that too.
I think
Clarence
it's like a
Daniel.
historic-
Paul Manning.
Here.
John Glover.
Here.
Tim Newman.
Here.
David Johnson.
Here.
We have a quorum. Okay, it's customary to go around the room. Rusty, we'll start around that way.
Rusty Broughton, the Beaufort County Engineer.
Brian Bauer, Beaufort County Engineering.
Troy Matthews, Beaufort County Broadcasting.
Thanks for being here.
Hannah Nichols, Beaufort County Public Information Officer.
Trace?
Tracy Bruton, SCDOT, RCE.
Mike Healy, SCDOT.
Libby Gordon, I'm the assistant to the chairman.
She gave herself a title.
Pamela Bernard, Beaufort County Engineering.
All right, thank you, everybody. Please rise, let's go to the Pledge of Allegiance, it's over there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Next item is public comment to our agenda items. Anybody here would like to make comment? Seeing none. We have our minutes out and of May 21st. Is there any objections or corrections that would like to be made? Seeing none, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Jenny? Paul Manning? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we'll roll into old business. Tracy, we're looking forward to having an update. Glad to have you back in the fold.
Thank you. Where do we stand now?
Right next to Miss Virginia.
Ms. Virginia?
Yes.
All right,
Let me get out of your way.
Commissioner and friends, good afternoon. Let me see the slide. Contract 3110 for Lands End Road, that one has been completed by Blight. The only minor things they're doing is a little bit of thermo. Island Causeway, another contract with Blight. We had them remove the silt fencing, so that way maintenance can put it on their schedule for grass cutting. They're doing a little bit of thermo out there as well. Peak pavement markings, that one has been 100% completed. So on the next update, I'll just completely remove that one off the slides. And keep in mind, the one on 3110 for Blight, they're doing, once they give us substantial work complete, we'll do a walk with them to do final inspection and punch list. Contract 6240, which is APAC, Charleston Highway, they're out there working right now. It's looking really good. They came down on the southbound side, and now they're on the northbound side. I went ahead and gave them a temporary work suspension, reason being that we've had this inclement weather, and their plant and other places got more than 7 inches of rain. So they're looking at being back on that road around the 21st of this month. It could be sooner. Okay. And the same contract, Lands End Road, that one has been completed. They're just doing a little bit of thermo on that. If you've ridden down there on the APAC side, it rides real smooth. And then the next piece is Blythe's piece right there. Island Causeway, same contract with APAC. They've completed it. The only thing they're doing is a little bit of thermo. We have to remove the silt fencing as well, so that way maintenance could add that on the to their schedule for grass cutting and everything. The next contract, 8641 WM Roebuck, they're doing the traffic signal upgrades. If you come over there, we're out there on Robert Smalls Parkway and Council Rock Road, you'll see where they poured the 4 foundations and installed the 4 strand poles. There's a total of 7 foundations they've actually poured. And their completion date on that will be December 31st of this year. And the same thing with them, they've been hitting a little bit of inclement weather as well.
Do they do any paving work with that, or is it just traffic signal?
Traffic signal.
Only.
There's a little bit of ramp work they gotta do too, as well, a little concrete. The next one is the 9620, which is APAC. The 4 roads on there it makes up for Beaufort County and Jasper, but we're only looking at Beaufort. Fording Island Road is one of the ones that are gonna do US 278. S3 Castle Hall Road, Detour Road, which is, I got a good update for you guys. We finally got them out there. They finished the road, and also the driveways.
When are you going to start 278?
278, they're looking at around September of this year, for APAC to get out there. And the other last road they're gonna be doing is S324, which is First Boulevard and Spanish Point.
The other question I have for you is that there are sections that need work on 278. I was starting at Buck Island and going down probably to 17, whether it's maintenance work that needs to be done. And Mike, I don't know if that's on your schedule to do any of the repairs on it. It's lapping, and I wondered if it was in your next year's program to pave that section.
One of my last slides I'm gonna go over is some of the future projected
Okay.
work, but to answer your question on some of that, they have some projections out to 2026 and 2027. And if you notice, they've piecemeal based upon the budget when they do some of these roads. If you look at Frontage Road, Blythe had 1 section, APAC came in there, and then now, as you know, with CTC, they're doing the next part of that. So as monies are available, then they do things like that. So they're just piecing it together. One of the slides, I don't know if you guys can, it should be the one on the Beaufort project summary. Yeah, keep going through. Keep going. Right here. I've made some changes to the slide, so as we go through a lot of them, I want to be able to give you guys a summary of all the contracts that we're talking about. So what you'll see is the contract number, you will see the description of the actual project, but keep in mind, some of these may also encompass Jasper in terms of the overall contract value, but I'm only covering the Beaufort products in here. So it also lists out who the contractor is, the funding, whether it's state, federal, or CTC, the overall contract value, and whatever that final cost was overall. And if you look at the one for Peak, you can see what that final cost was, and there was a savings of about $16,000 that we didn't utilize. But we were able to get 4 other jobs done, 4 other roads done within that as remaining funds. Right here, we also got a column in terms of percent of time complete, as well as percent complete in terms of dollars. And also when the contract was let, awarded, and when we issued NTP for when the contractor is going to perform the work with some descriptions. So right here where you see completed, yes or no, as you see with the pavement markings district-wide, that one is 100% completed. So even though I have known some of the ones I mentioned where Black has completed the project, I won't put it to a yes until we're 100% closed out, meaning that we've done the final inspection, punch list, and everything has been signed off and submitted as complete. So this is what I'll be showing you each meeting, so it gives you more of a summary, and plus you have it in your packet right there.
That's a good sheet.
Next slide. And this is the one that we're just talking about future projected projects right there. And if you look, you see the one about corridor improvements from Buckerton Plantation. That one looks like it's going to be out of August 2027. The next one down below it for Beaufort, Laurel Bay. That one looks to be about around July of 2026. And the next one for Reseda Road, that one's unknown right now, so it could still be in development stage. And then the last one for Burnt Church Road is in design development. So this is a new slide I've added as well. So any changes that I have for future work, I'll add it here for Beaufort. I won't include Jasper, but I'll give as much update as I can. So when I go out in the system, this is about all the information I have so far. So
I'm going to give you something to add to that, okay?
Yes, sir.
See where it says location? I'm going to give you the district that that's in,
Okay.
so people know what district it's in. That's, I think, the first one is District 8.
Okay.
Laurel Bay, I think, is District 1.
Okay.
Reseda, where's that?
One,
It's 1?
I think.
Don't right by the roundabout, where they want to bring that roundabout on.
Okay.
By Stanford.
That's 1. And Burnt Church is either in 7 or 8.
Okay.
I'll have to look at that.
Okay.
I think 7.
7. Okay. Do you, hopefully, this commission here finds these two additions to the slides useful. and
That's a
helpful.
great slide.
Okay. So, any questions? One project that's not on here that I will be adding on here on the next update is contract 1420. And that's Old Shell Road right there, where they're putting in the sidewalk, right there near the Navy Hospital. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, there'll be, contract completion should be October 31st of this year. That one is kind of going a little slow because of the weather, but there was an accident. Whoever came through there doing like 70, they hit the, yeah, they hit the fence over there and everything. So they had to kind of put some, I wouldn't call it silk, they had to kind of cover it up and have people kind of watch it and guard it.
The history on this.
Yes.
I'm sharing this with everybody because this has so much history behind it, I can't even begin to tell you. That project started, and I remember the mayor of Beaufort coming in, we rejected 2 sidewalk projects. And it was year 3, so it was 2019, I'm thinking of when this all went down. And the mayor come in and he staged court with us and he was all upset that we didn't approve it. So finally it got to the point where it was approved. The mayor was happy, so the mayor, or Port Royal mayor was happy about it. And so we gave them the funds to do the work, and then they ran into the Navy. And the Navy didn't want to give them the right-of-way along the road to put the sidewalk in. Then it went from that, it took probably 2 to 3 years with that, and we basically said, we're going to give you the money. And so we went ahead and gave the money, and it went to DOT because it's on a DOT route and everything else, and we let DOT and Port Royal work out how this all went down. So I'm just providing that. There's so much history in some of these projects that go back years. That went back to 2019, and it's now being done in 2025.
That's right. All right.
Really remarkable.
Then you had the Naval Hospital was declassified from being a hospital briefly,
Yes,
and then went back to being
In
a
a hospital.
hospital, which added to the general.
absolutely. Any other, go ahead, any other
I'm
questions
looking
for
on this
Tracy?
map, and I see Lansing Road.
Yes, sir.
It's only like, from,
Coffee.
In the top right, does that say Blythe or APAC on the top right there?
back.
APAC. Yeah, when you come down that road, APAC had the first portion of that, and then the next section was Blythe.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Craig.
On the future projects.
Yes, sir.
The first one, 2027, August, is that the notice to proceed?
No, that's when they're looking at, not so much a notice to receive, but when they may actually let out the contract. It's a rough date and year.
So that's when the contract could be awarded, is 2027?
Correct. That's correct. And this is all subject to change, depending on how far they get down and in the process. It could end up being next year.
Is this project yours?
Not yet. It's not at all, not yet. Once it gets let and awarded, depending upon what district it's in, then my DCE of a district will award it to that RCE. So I have several.
My question is it a DOT project?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, it's a DOT
DOT
project,
project.
but Craig Wynn has the project.
that is correct.
Craig Wynn will be the guy that handles it.
So you're responsible for it?
DOT is responsible for it. And that's what I'm getting at.
That's what I'm getting at,
Yeah,
too.
depending on what district it is, because I have other counterparts of RCEs, so,
All right, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
not going to belabor the question.
yeah.
So, and I think it'll also depend on whether it comes to the construction office or whether it's
Right.
run out of the bridge office in Charleston.
Correct.
So it's probably still to be determined.
That's correct. Yeah. If it's in Beaufort, it's definitely mine. If it's up in Charleston, then it may go to one of the other RCEs or the resident bridge engineer.
And it'll change by then anyhow.
That's correct. That is correct. So,
Any other questions? Did you have one?
Mine was similar to what.
Okay. Thanks very much, Tracy.
you're very welcome.
Okay, Brian, you're up with Dirt Road update.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee members. Just a few updates on dirt roads, with more to come next month. So our new legacy road ordinance passed at third reading on Monday. So as soon as that gets signed, it'll start going into effect. We're working in the department to, get that rolled out. So we'll come back in the next meeting in September with an update on the process and how that's going to look moving forward. The Dirt Road 53 project, which was Twickenham was the last road on that one, Northview. That project is complete and now closed out. And Dirt Road 55 is our current ongoing project. Construction started on Dolphin Watch Drive, but there's some issues with some water lines out there, so that has been put on hold while that's being resolved. There's going to be some relocation needed that wasn't foreseen. We have started looking at James D. Washington and any utilities out there as far as conflicts. So that's next on the list, and I would anticipate it starting sometime later on this summer. And then Leo Green is going to be the last road on the list for 55, and it will start after the conclusion of James D. Washington. And so hopefully next month, again, we'll go over the new process for the dirt roads and then have a more of an update on the current dirt roads for you, so.
And we'll have a discussion at that time also on legacy routes. I appreciate this document. And I'd like for you to just take a second and look at it and understand what that means. And I'll take District 1. You'll see District 1, we've paved 42.22 miles of dirt roads in District 1. To put that in preface, it's roughly $1 million a mile. So over $42 million was spent on District 1. And so you can leaf through there and kind of get a feeling of what dollar amount has been spent in your district. District 2, 15 miles, that's roughly 15 million. District 3, 20 miles, that's paved. So you can look through your various districts and see what's been paved. See that there wasn't much on 10 or 11, on Hilton Head, or even 9 or 8.
And this goes back to 1994, which was kind of the beginning of the dirt road program and when the legacy road program started, so.
Any questions for Brian? Okay, Rusty, you're up next.
Good afternoon. All right, the 500 2080T, I actually have an update to my first update. The secondary roads, 500 to 2080T, and year 3, 0 to 500. We have that permit, and that project has kicked off, and they started paving on Monday for the year 8 resurfacing. The SCDOT secondary roads for year 2, and then year 4. That would be the year 9 resurfacing plan. We have those plans, and we're working through those and we're going to be meeting with AMT to get a final report on the secondary road evaluation on phase 2. And we'll be planning a meeting with them soon to review that report once we get it. Any questions on that?
I think that, again, so that we talked about it at the last meeting, AMT got us behind on awarding and letting some of this, and we'll talk a little bit more about it during the treasurer's report, and I'll postpone those comments until then.
Okay. Resurfacing preservation projects for year 8. Again, kind of an update to the update, that it's all been approved and paving has been started. We should finish Big Road probably tomorrow. If it's not done today, it'll be tomorrow. And we'll kind of stay in that area, probably hit a couple more state roads and then a couple county roads while they're in that area.
Any questions on 500 to 2,000? Rejuvenator?
Rejuvenator's complete. That's finished up. That PO's been paid and liquidated, so we're good to go there. Everything's done.
Okay, Brian, you're up next with pavement evaluation and maintenance, year 10 and beyond.
So with the pavement evaluation in year 10 resurfacing, so we put this out to bid earlier on in the summer. We updated at the last meeting. We got a handful of people submitted for it, and we selected ICE to be the one to move forward with it. They have since gotten us a fee proposal, which we have reviewed and found to be appropriate. So included in that fee proposal was a base amount of $233,035 to collect the county roads and do a 10-year pavement preservation plan to get us past the current 10-year plans that we have. They also submit pricing in there to collect and give a rating for all the municipalities. So you can see there that comes out to, roughly $23,000, 24, something around there. And then there's another alternate to collect and inventory the signs, raised pavement markings, and striping in the county, and give a baseline evaluation of quality of those. And that was $63,900. So that's going to bring the total contract amount to $322,995. So each municipality has confirmed and committed to paying for their portion of it. So when we take this to council for approval, we will come with some IGAs for the municipalities. And the signs, RVM, and striping has been committed to be paid for by our Public Works Department because they are the ones that maintain the signs. So that means that the CTC's commitment is just going to be that top number there, the $233,035. So with y'all's approval today, we will plan to get this on the PFC meeting in August and then to go to full council after that, and hopefully with an NTP in mid-September for it. So if there's any questions, be happy to answer them now.
Brian, you and I have talked about the safety issues and striping. Is there a thought to make the striping wider, which you've said, and highway safety says 33% improvement in?
Yeah, and that's something that we definitely look at as a county, as on the primary routes going with a 6-inch striping versus a 4-inch, which is standard. I think the DOT may have done some 6-inch possibly. And so that's something that we've looked at for our projects on primary routes, doing that in the future.
Because there's also the recent communication from the federal government to Governor McMaster, to focus on safety and to do the analysis and figure this out, and not just go along the way we've been doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, safety is always a big priority for all of us, for the county, for the DOT, for Stephanie and Latz. They did their safety action plan that came out earlier on this year. I think striping is one of the things that was mentioned in there. So that's something that we definitely look at and keep in mind moving forward.
Again, a little bit of history on the background. When we did our first PMS study back in 2016, 2017, we had them go through and not only analyze the roads, but while they were taking every 500 feet, they took a picture. And so it had a picture of all the appurtenances beside the road. So if there were guardrails there, signs or whatever else, when he stopped at a stop sign, that was be captured. Well, it was a wonderful idea in principle. Whenever it went to the computer and they tried to put it in GIS, it became an inventory mess. I mean, you can imagine every 500 feet, of the 200-plus miles of Beaufort County owns, it was just way too much information. And so this is an attempt, again, to recapture some of that information on a better basis, which hasn't been done. And I made the stance this has to come out of Public Works. We're not paying for it. And so they've agreed to pay for it, as well as the 4 municipalities are going to pay for those. And I want to give, again, an attaboy to the CTC, because we're now getting the municipalities to start looking at doing paving programs similar to what the CTC is doing. So again, the leadership that we've given is through this committee resonates out in the communities as well. Yes,
Yeah,
Jenny?
I was just gonna add, about 10 minutes ago, I wanted to ask a question about the benefits of the striping. Because, I mean, it is so, for such a low-cost item, it does an amazing safety. And I was just wondering if there was any tracking or comparative tracking, or what sort of information was gathered to show, because people don't appreciate it, because they'll say, oh, why are they bothering with striping? You know, why don't they really do something to prevent accidents? Well, and if there were any, you know, like accident records where before and after striping, or any of those things available, because as you know, the public often doesn't understand what's going on.
So
Absolutely.
I don't know if we have any records locally, but as Mr. Manning referenced, I know FHWA has done some studies and has shown a significant improvement with wider striping.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering also more locally, regionally, to, you know, where people could say, oh yeah, down at that street.
Do y'all have
'Cause-
anything, or?
Because, I mean, some people actually do notice the difference it makes when you get striping. Oh my God, I can see what lane I'm supposed to be in.
That's a true statement. I was getting ready to say the same thing.
Yeah,
I agree with her. Striping is necessary.
yeah, it's amazing, and for the price, you can't, I mean,
Right.
you can't get a better deal.
So, and kind of like I mentioned, what we've looked at adopting in the county is when we do the resurfacing, if it's, you know, a secondary road or low volume, sticking with the 4 inches, but if it's a primary road or something more high volume, higher speeds, doing 6 inches. So that's kind of what we've adopted internally, so.
I think
I know,
Bluffton
particularly
Parkway.
the one on Bluffton Road, I know, you know, there's that lane where you're coming down and you're turning into the library, and if you're turning into the library, you're in front of the cars coming the other way, and the striping is no longer visible.
Yeah,
Bluffton Parkway, when it was redone, I think went to 6-inch, didn't it?
Did they end up doing 6 inches? I know we were talking about it.
I don't know for a fact.
Okay. I know when we ever do the rest of Bluffton Parkway, that's something that we would incorporate, would be 6-inch striping on it, so.
Any further conversation? Okay, let's go to item G, Hilton Head Bridges update. That song doesn't seem to ever change, does it?
No, it doesn't. I thought Jared was going to be here, so I'll do my best to fill in. But so Jared did a pretty good update at the council meeting on Monday.
Yeah.
If anyone watched it.
Yep.
So going back, the SIB, the updated financing has been sent to the SIB, the State Infrastructure Bank, and they have accepted it to move forward with the 3-lane bridge concept that's out there. Out of that, it popped up that from the DOT that there is opportunity for a federal large bridge grant to fund the rest of the project to get it back up to the original $600 million. So that will be a joint application from the DOT and county. That is due by August 1st. Council voted on it at the meeting Monday and gave the administrator the approval to move forward with that grant application. So that will be submitted August 1st, and we would expect to hear something later on this year, November or early next year, and that would get us back to the funding for the original project as scope. So.
I think that's a pretty good update. Go ahead, David.
Well, just, is there any conflict between the two? I mean, I've heard a lot of uproar, but is there any, in other words, we're not waiting, we can go ahead with what was agreed to with the SIB. This doesn't.
No, they're on two separate paths. They're
Okay.
going to kind of move simultaneously. The full project was already at 30–40%, something like that, when it was put on pause. And so in the time it takes us to hear back, the 3-lane bridge will catch up to it. And then by the time we hear back, you know, whichever way we need to move forward, it'll be at the same progress. So.
All right, thanks.
So
It was interesting county council vote.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Craig.
What's the amount of money that they're requesting in the grant, do you know?
I think it's around 200 million.
And I believe you just said it's coming out of some federal aid bridge pot?
It's the large bridge grant from the bridge program.
Can any of the money be spent on anything else other than the bridge?
It would be to go back to the bridge and the corridor project as originally scoped, so. And that would be in the application, so it'd only be able to be spent on what was in the application.
It would fund a bridge only.
Yeah, it's
It's what
very
I-
specific.
I thought that was what I asked. Can you spend any of the 200 million on anything other than the construction?
No.
No.
But it
No.
will get us back up to the full project. So.
Has anyone, either an elected official or someone from the county and DOT, approached Secretary Duffy about greasing the skids for this particular grant?
I can't speak to that. I
Okay.
don't know if they've
All right.
had that
Thank you.
conversation or not.
That would probably cause more problems than,
I would agree. Okay, thanks, Brian. New business. Miss Hannah, we're glad to have you here today visiting with us.
Thank you for the invite. All right. Does it help if I say next slide? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So go ahead. So, committee members, thank you. My name is Hannah Nichols. I'm the Beaufort County Public Information Officer, and my goal today is to give everyone a clear picture of where we stand as far as our marketing and press relations for the committee's efforts, and to also identify a couple of expansion opportunities. Next slide. Also, no one gave me a time limit. How long do I have?
I'll cut you off if it's too long.
Okay. All right, so at Beaufort County, we use a combination of traditional and digital channels to communicate your updates, including press releases, web updates, social media, and direct community notices. Obviously, your goals are our goals: transparency, keeping residents informed, and providing clear updates and awareness on any disruptions to their travels as they go along our roads. Next slide. So we regularly issue these press releases through our email marketing platform, and Beaufort County can send a message to up to 70,000 subscribers at one time, but that number depends on what they've elected to subscribe to. So if they are only interested in convenience center updates, they do not get transportation updates. We also have good relationships with our local media partners, and they frequently pick up our news releases to run on their channels, but those are typically reactive. What I've screenshotted here is an example of your latest Transportation Committee update that went out to 10,596 subscribers. It was delivered to 94% of those inboxes, and you have a 39% open rate, which is better than industry average, even though it looks kind of small.
Really?
Industry average is only between 28 and 30% opens.
Oh.
Most people just ignore their inboxes now. All right, next slide. So most digital communications obviously are housed on our website. That's what we own. That's what we have the most control over. Every single press release we put out gets archived on our news and updates page. And the website also hosts your interactive maps, like your pavement conditions report. And your committee page shares information about your meetings, members, and transportation plans. On social media, we post through our official accounts, and we have a combined 50,000 followers across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And here is your, go back. Here is your same press release that I included for your email send. Here are your Facebook stats. So that went out to, I think 1,900 people was your reach. 1,987 people saw that post. Now on Nextdoor, if we're talking about that, they don't follow us, but they subscribe to neighborhoods. So if we have a specific neighborhood update, like we know there's going to be a road affected in this neighborhood, we can post a community alert directly to them and everyone sees it. Okay, next slide. All right, these are our current community outreach efforts for the committee. Obviously, what is this meeting. It's an outreach event. You have a public notice, you have opportunity for public comment, we live stream it, we archive it, but that is a little tough for people to get to if they have work, if they can't make it in person. And you also have these portable signs at construction sites, but the feedback I've seen from them is they are a little small.
Yep,
And I'll touch on that in a minute.
we're going to look into that.
All right, next slide, please. So, as with all things, we can always improve. Currently, our efforts have a little bit of that like limited proactive storytelling about your success, and there's no visibility for specific projects or where we are in the project. And then also, I am not an engineer. I am not a transportation expert. So I have screenshotted here a couple of transportation-related questions that we get on social media, and we typically relate them back to the engineering department, but I would love to be able to have more specificity with those answers to foster that two-way communication, because Miss Diana here feels bad for the workers paving in the summer. I know that there is a reason why we pave in the summertime, but I don't know what it is. Engineering can maybe help me with that.
Because it's summer in 11.
Why do we pave in the summertime?
Asphalt's generally more flexible and pliable in the heat. So.
See, I knew there was a reason, and I would love to be able to share that with Miss Diana. All right, next slide. So if we're looking at expansion, I've got three kind of directions for us. Two of them are completely free, completely covered in what the county already does. One of them might need some budget, so that's where I'm going to need you to weigh in. We have an engagement portal called Beaufort County Connects, and I'm going to talk about how that kind of fosters that two-way and real-time updates. We have a fantastic Beaufort County television crew. They're here today, live streaming this meeting. So I'm going to be recommending that we enlist their help in creating a couple of new video content creations, and that we can get a little bit more targeted if we're willing to put some money into some targeted advertising. Next slide. So the Beaufort County Connects engagement page, and I've screenshotted here an example from a neighborhood that Public Works is using it for, is a fantastic tool that has widgets that have surveys, Q&As, polls. You can click on Matt's link up there and it'll take you straight to his email to ask him directly a question. And it has also key dates, all kinds of good stuff on here. My recommendation would be that the committee start a page on this site for Rejuvenator, for pavement program, for anything really that you want. We can do a program-specific page. And that's going to help us feature stories on long-term community impact and answer those frequently asked questions like, why do you pave in the summertime? Does striping help you be more safe? And I will say this requires a bit of staff support, and that somebody has to answer those questions.
Well, I guess where some of this all came from, I'll let you finish up. Go ahead.
Okay. I really like this option for like long-term engagement and helping people see where we're headed though. Next slide. So we're seeing more and more use of videos to inform and engage, and I think some additional content with what we already have the ability to produce can help get us help us get the word out about your projects. We can have explainer videos, we can have Q&As, we can have project updates, and I did include an example here because I think the city of Tampa does a really good job, but only if we have time to watch a minute-long video. It's only a minute. What do we feel? Go ahead and play it. Nobody's giving me
Nothing is possible without a wonderful team, and we got one of the best teams right here.
I think the city of Tampa does a great job with this.
My name is Raymond Matos. I'm a transportation operations team leader for the mobility operations department. I have been in the city of Tampa 23 years. Right now, as a team leader, I am one of the two service teams for the city of Tampa. When I do, I come out, I take a look at the areas, I make sure that we don't have any utility issues, any cavings, depressions. Prior to becoming the team leader over the resurfacing team, I was over the pothole crews for quite a number of years. I ran the Fix It Fast from the moment it was started to when I was moved over here to the resurfacing team. What I love most about this job is just basically that I'm able to put back into the community that I live in. It improves the
So content like that focuses on your personalities, but also answers those questions within the engagement format. We learned, yes, that he works at Tampa, but also that they are resurfacing, that he has a great team, and that he is actively contributing to the quality of life within his city. And I nominate Rusty for our first video. Another potential option is BCTV just got some podcasting equipment and they're exploring some new show ideas. So there's always an opportunity for interviews, for explainers, for Q&As within that format as well. I'm almost done. Next slide. So if you're willing to spend a little more, targeted outreach is always a great option. The Bluffton area especially has a great Hispanic business community, so I would love to see if we could maybe start producing our materials in Spanish as well. I don't have a translator. Everything we have goes out in English, but I think that's a missed opportunity there. And then advertorials are always a great option. They're somewhat, if you don't know what an advertorial is, it's not quite an ad, but it's also not a letter to the editor. You pay essentially to have a story written for you by the news that features your program and your content. And then I don't normally recommend billboards, but I think with a transportation committee, you're in your car, you're gonna see it. We can't see the little bitty yard signs. Maybe we get a couple along a major route that says over 200 miles of Beaufort County road improvements brought to you by Beaufort County Transportation Committee. Easy, simple. We don't have digital billboards here, but we could tick it up as the mileage go up. Always a fun option. And then this is where I kick it over to you guys. Next slide, please.
Well,
What did I miss? What else should I consider?
this all started with your help. I've been getting for some time over probably the last, I want to say the last year after the committee approved it, where our projects have been published about the fact that we're doing stuff, and we started putting signs out and so on. And I think that we're a hidden gem. We provide so much and do so much in this community, and we're not technically part of the county. We are actually Beaufort County CTC, which stands alone, separate from the county processes our dollars for us, but we as a committee are governed by DOT. And I've had an article here that was a summary article in the Bluffton Sun. And it talked about, it's the first time I've ever seen DOT ever talk about $576 million for 2026 road projects, key routes in Beaufort County slated for repair. I would have loved to have seen that done once or twice a year, where we're putting out an article in all the newspapers. At least somebody can read them and say, hey, Beaufort County Transportation Committee is actually doing this, and put our signs along with the article and so on. That's kind of what was resonating in me. And I opened the topic up. I invited her because we've made a lot of progress. And even, you know, when you go find the County Transportation Committee, we're hidden under engineering. And our projects and so on aren't even published on our website. Current website, nothing's on it about what we're doing. And I think that's a missed opportunity where we should be having what our projects are for 2025, 2026, and so on the website at least, or bring it forward and talk about the Beaufort Transportation Committee on the first page of the website. So somebody doesn't have to go trying to find us, and once they find us, there's actual information there about what the CTC is doing. So those are kind of the ideas that come to the top of my mind right off, and they're easy fixes without spending bunches of money. And you're the PIO, I'm just the chairman. So I'm open for suggestions on how we might be able to get some of these items, those thoughts accomplished.
Yeah. Is there a reason why the committee website is underneath engineering?
That's just where it's always been housed, but we can always pull one out. Charleston County has a great example of a CTC website that I would have to talk to them and see how they manage it themselves, whether it's internal or external, but they do a great job with it.
Okay, we can always look at doing like a subdomain too, where then everything is still housed in our back end. You guys aren't worried about hosting or anything as opposed to going out and getting your own domain. Then it would be just, let's just say bctransportationcommittee.com, and it still routes to your current site. There's always options to make improvements there. I will say Beaufort County just put together an RFP for a new website provider, so the back end is going to be a little bit easier to use. We're looking for like a drag and drop with integrations. So if you've ever looked at our website, it's a fantastic resource of information, but it's kind of like a filing cabinet that we've just been kind of shoving stuff in for too long without organizing it. So I'm looking forward to that process, and we can definitely look at some improvements as part of that.
That's where I'm at for the CTC. Is there disagreement with where we're going with this? I think we've worked so hard through the years from 2016 till today, the 9 years of really putting programs together to better the public, to provide more. You know, we've touched over 200 miles of county roads and state roads. You know, that's hidden. Nobody knows that we're sitting here in a meeting and nobody knows that we're doing this and spending money. And if there are no other questions, that's kind of a segue into the next topic is money.
So
I have a question for you, Hannah.
just jump in. Sorry.
We're not connecting with very many people, though.
Yeah.
How do we increase the connection? I mean, social media is not very good, obviously. You know, 1,900 Facebook connections. The email blast, you're right, if somebody hasn't selected that, they're not going to receive the email, but is there a way to work around that to get those emails kind of out there? It just seems like, you know, we're penetrating such a small slice of the population.
So I think that's where, if you guys are willing to try the Connect page, it can really step in and bridge those gaps for you. It encourages people to sign up for email updates that maybe aren't receiving them currently. You can tie it directly into the Beaufort County website and social media. It has a lot of built-in integrations to try to bridge those gaps. And the whole thing is we want people to come into our ecosystem because then we can continue to market to them again and again. So if they see something on the side of the road, BeaufortCountyTransportationCommittee.com, they go there, it takes them here, they sign up for an email, they come into that, and then they start to engage. And part of that is the two-way thing too. We get a lot of paving questions that I don't think are answered appropriately or don't get an answer in time, because if you come up to someone at a store and ask them a question and they don't interact with you, you're going to leave and find somebody else to shop with. So I think we need to be doing a better job at fostering our community because they do want to engage with us and we need to be engaging back.
Yeah.
I'd like for you to, if you would, I'm going to wait for Brian's comments, but I'd like for you to reach out and talk to the administrator a little bit about it as well. Sure. And you can touch base back with me offline about where we might want to continue going. Brian?
Yeah, I was going to add, I do think the pavement evaluation reports are on the website, either the engineering or the CTC website, and they do have the 5-year plan in there. We can definitely try to pull those out and put them somewhere else, though. In regard to the comment about, you know, not reaching people on social media, every project we do, whether it's a resurfacing, we send out a media notice, and if we're working in a neighborhood, a lot of times Blythe or APAC, whoever our resurfacing contractor is, will go and put door hangers or something out. And every time, even if we're going door to door and putting something out, we still have people come out and say, I knew nothing about this. So, you know, it's all dependent on how do you reach people? Are people listening to the radio in their car, or is it satellite radio so they're not hearing it? Are they watching the local news, or are they watching national? So it's really hard to reach everybody and to get that wide swath. We'll definitely do whatever we can to get that out there more. But, you know, and with Beaufort County Connects thing, there are other avenues that we interact with the public as well. I mean, we have a generic engineering webpage that our email that comes to myself and multiple other people in the engineering department. There's a traffic email, there's a public works email. And I would say it's almost daily that we're getting emails or phone call through those, sources and interacting with the public and answering those questions about public. Or Pam came to me earlier on today about a resident that reached out about Dirt Road. So, we are getting those resources. They're not passing through Hannah because they're coming through our generic department emails, but we are getting some of that interaction and, addressing it when we know about it.
It's good that the discussion's happening, because this is something we need to improve over the next year. Jenny?
First of all, I'd like to say this is great that we're talking about it, and we have the person in charge from the county working with us, because you can remember how frustrated I used to get because there's nothing. And, we were doing a good job, but nobody knew about it. Another thing that I've noticed, I admit to reading the Nextdoor stuff. And I don't know if everybody knows Nextdoor. And you can either have it for the whole area or for your individual neighborhood. And one of the main areas that people complain about is transportation, traffic, roads. And I think we ought to hit them, like not wait until they complain about this, that, or the other, but periodically put a notice on there, and they do a good readership, but say what we're doing. Nobody in that source knows anything about this, and I think that would be a good place to hit. And then just my other thoughts, based on being kind of a marketer, is to make to have everything change periodically and fairly frequently. Because if people go back to the website and it's the same, every time, they stop going. I mean, that's just a natural thing. And update as we have the update every 2 months of what's going on, and put this on our various social media, including Nextdoor stuff. I know Nextdoor does not have a good reputation, but a lot of people on there bitching, and they bitch. I mean, every so often I'll get really mad and I'll defend something I did 4 years ago where they're calling the person stupid. But anyhow, it's,
Yes, Dave.
I'm just being honest.
But they're an
Dave?
engaged crowd.
Yeah, and they get people who, start the day reading it, end the day reading it, and get all their friends involved. And it would give them a whole different attitude toward how things are done.
Dave?
I agree with you, Jenny. I want to reiterate that I think that it's the number one issue, and we're going to find out more as surveys come out, is transportation is the number one issue in Beaufort County. I mean, other than growth, okay? So hitting that is very important. I think particularly as we start to see some of these 2018 projects being done, that people have been wondering, where are all these pathways that we're now starting to see them being done. And I think it's important that be out in front of that, particularly if there's even a chance of even another referendum somewhere down the road. It needs to be out there so people can to take the pressure off people saying nothing's being done.
I know York's sitting here, and forget you're not here, but the bottom line is county council, a lot of the county council doesn't know what we're doing and what we're involved with, and how many roads we've touched, how much difference we've made. When we started in 2016, Beaufort County did not have a paving program. Nothing. There was nothing other than they were putting some money in fixing dirt roads. We have touched so many roads and made such a difference over the last 9 years, it isn't funny. And nobody, it's not like I'm looking for an outward pat in the back or anything. The county ought to know, members of the citizenry ought to know, these are people that are here dedicating their time at least an hour or more every other month trying to make a difference in Beaufort County so that we have better roads to drive on. And that's what got me kind of stirred up about this in the beginning. It kind of dovetails into what you're saying.
And then even occasionally having a sort of a knowledge dump on issues like striping. Telling people that really is a big deal. It's not just some paint. And
Well, Hannah, thank you for being here, and thank you and I'd like for you to have a follow-up with us. in the future.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
If you need assistance on Spanish, I'm bilingual.
Okay, next item up. Forecasted apportionment for fiscal year 2025 and 26. Well, have a little interesting backseat on that. I got one I really got excited on that was sent to me, and it was said, you're going to get 3.7 million. I thought, oh, we hit the mother lode. And then it was about 2 hours later that it came back, and Chad said, nah, that forecast was wrong. We're only going to get 2.687. And that's what our apportionment is for 25, fiscal year 25, which started 1 July. And with that, we also will get about 700 to 800,000 for the additional funding for gas tax reimbursement. So that's in your portfolio. That's kind of where we are for this go-around. Next item up is Treasurer's Report.
I'll be brief. We didn't have, I just want to point something out if you've looked at it. We didn't have May's numbers last time, and I just want to point out the, and stop me if I'm wrong here, Rusty, but this number, there's a number that's 491 in here in the receipts, and then if you look at the bottom under the third section, you see that same number. That was an intergovernmental agreement with Beaufort Battery Shores at Beaufort, just so people understand. It's just kind of in and out, so that kind of screws that up. It's really more like we spent more like 270,000. Sorry, it's roughly $270,000 in May. Okay, so that number 755 is a little screwy. In June, which is what we're here, we have not gotten our numbers from the state yet for the revenue, but we do know we spent, you see on the bottom in there, about $723,000 during the month of June. It's not up to date on what the number we have is 11,291. That's current balance. It'll be higher than that once we have our number for June from the state. So I don't know if there's any. Hopefully that's not too confusing. But any questions? Yeah.
One thing that I thought was in the packet, which is very relevant, is
It wasn't put in the packet, I don't think, but I've got it too. So go ahead. Sorry.
we spent grand total through Rejuvenator, DOT work, 278 resurfacing, Bluffton Parkway, on and on, 8.7 million last year. Now, we're doing some of that work still. To break that out, 68% of it was, or 5.9 or almost $6 million was spent on county roads, and 68% is the magic number, and 2.79 million was spent on state route, which is 32%. And again, that's very relevant because we're required to spend 68 and 32, 67 and 33. So we're right on the numbers. And I was very happy whenever this came out. And I'll make certain, see that you get that breakdown. I'll call Chris and have her make certain everybody gets it. Okay. Any questions on dollars? Next item is, we didn't have anybody here to make public comment. Is there any public comments to our agenda items? Not here. I made the comment, we're the first committee to get shirts. I encourage you all to wear your shirts in pride next month, or next meeting. So with that, if there's nothing else to be brought before this committee, meeting's adjourned.